cuando lleguemos.
No puede estar en el centro, si no, todo el mundo hacia allá.
Hi. When I came like 3 weeks ago, I waited in line like hour and a half. We were in line for an hour and a half.
Yeah. Because I remember talking to you about coming here, and now finally,
Yeah.
and that was years ago, so I'm finally here.
Welcome to Panama. It's raining though.
Yeah.
Well, but we're in that part of the year where it rains every single day. Una limonada con raspadura.
No soy de aquí, soy de los Estados Unidos.
Ah,
Sí,
okay.
eso es mi primera vez aquí.
Ah, ok. Entonces es recomendado para cuando viene fiesta panameña.
A ver, fiesta panameña. It's your boy J-Rod and welcome to the channel. So right now your boy is in Panama City, not the one in Florida because I done had people get confused with that. No, I'm in Panama City, the one in Central America. So that's where I'm located right now. But yeah, today's video I'm just gonna share with you the things I like, dislike, the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm just gonna give you my commentary. And before I start this video, let me just say this. When I do these type of videos where I'm giving my commentary, it's not by any means me trying to persuade people into doing something. I'm just telling you like what the things you need to look out for. I'm just telling you the things you need to look out for if you do decide to travel to a particular country, because I don't want to sell you guys short and have you come out here and not know what to expect. So when I do make my commentary, I always try to keep it honest. So before I even start this video, why did I choose Panama to begin with? So I'm gonna be honest with you. I had really no true desire to come here. There was nothing about Panama that it was just like screaming like, oh, you need to go to Panama. I think for me, it was just, I was looking on the internet and I saw that they had a good deal to come out here. And another thing, I got a coworker, she's from Panama, so me and her, we got to talking about life in Dominican Republic. I was telling her how I was an expat, and then we were just comparing life between the two countries, and from what she was telling me, it sounded very similar to the Dominican Republic. So I was like, you know what, why not? And plus I got a friend who lives here, the one who I met in college, so she picked me up from the airport or whatever. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna give Panama a shot. And plus, I'm trying to go to every country in Latin America. That is one of my goals. I always heard things about Panama, but it wasn't like at the top of my bucket list. But I have had subscribers tell me like, oh, you need to come and visit Panama. So, all right, but I'm rambling. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into the things I do like about Panama City. All right, I gotta be specific. I'm in Panama City. So overall, my first impressions about Panama is Panama City is gorgeous. It is undeniably beautiful. Like, you cannot sit up here and tell me that this city is not beautiful. And they call it the Dubai of Central America for a reason. And I mean, if you really do look at like the buildings and stuff, it does kind of put you in the mind of modern day Dubai. From what I've been telling people, it kind of puts me in the mind of Miami, Dominican Republic and Dubai like kind of just all meshed together in like one city. So that's like kind of the first initial vibe that I got when I was coming from the airport, is that the city is absolutely gorgeous, head to toe. I mean, that is one thing you're gonna immediately notice, is that the architecture in the buildings, everything is on point. Like, this is a very, very beautiful city. One thing I will say about Panama is the people are very friendly here. And that typically tends to be the case in most Latin American countries, that the people are very friendly. So you're gonna hear that. That's a common theme I'm always gonna say when I visit countries, is the people are friendly, because it's sad in America, we are just rude and mean for no reason. Panama people, they're definitely warm and welcoming. And one thing about the people that I noticed in the airport, just the people in general, one thing that I did notice about Panama is the diversity that, I mean, it was so many different expats. Like, to be honest, I really can't tell who was Panamanian. Like, it's so many mixtures of people here. Like, it was Asian people, there were Venezuelan people, Colombian people, it was American people, you have Black Americans, white Americans. So it was really hard for me to identify who was actually Panamanian, but that was like one of the things I noticed when I got to the airport, is tons and tons and tons of expats. So y'all know me, I don't really like being around expats, simply because when I travel, I like to get away from that. But that is something that you're gonna notice, is tons of expats. There's a lot of old people here too. A lot of old people like to retire in Panama. So I noticed that on the plane, there was a lot of seniors and that were from America. The food is very, very much similar to the Dominican Republic. And I'm actually gonna, somebody suggested that I do a comparison between the two countries. I think that's actually a good matchup, Panama versus DR, because I think my last matchup was Dominican Republic versus Brazil. And I don't think that was fair. Like, Brazil was just Brazil, I'm sorry, like, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say this now, Brazil is in its own category. Like, ain't no other countries touching Brazil right now, because even Dominican Republic, and I love Dominican Republic, that's my favorite country, but Brazil was just, it's so far ahead of everybody. Like, I can't even do a comparison video between Brazil. I'll have to do Brazil versus like another country in a different continent, like Brazil versus Egypt, or Brazil versus China or something like that, because Brazil, it was just way too good. So I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. Brazil is the best country in Latin America, but Dominican Republic is my favorite. But yeah, I will do a matchup between Panama and DR, kind of like a comparison video, because I do think that's a more even playing field. All right, we're back to the food. The food is very similar to Dominican food. It reminds me of the Caribbean. Like, they have sancocho. They do have tostones. They don't call them tostones. They call it something else. I forgot what it is. So yeah, that's another thing. The Spanish, they use a lot of different words that are not like from the Caribbean. So, and I mean, that's just in general in all countries in Latin America. They call their foods different things, but it's the same thing. So the food is definitely very similar to the Dominican Republic. So if you enjoy Dominican food, then you're definitely gonna enjoy Panamanian food. All right, let's talk about the driving. So the driving here, pretty smooth. The only thing about it is the traffic. The traffic is really bad, and they don't have highways. Like, in a lot of places how you got like a freeway and stuff, they don't really have that in Panama. So it's kind of like one way in and one way out the city, and I don't know, I feel like they need to work on that, like just the layout of like the streets and stuff, because the traffic does get really bad. And when I say bad, I mean it's worse than Dominican Republic. Like, a place that should take you, maybe 20 minutes, it could literally take you an hour depending on the time of day. All right, so let's talk about some things that I don't like about Panama. So the first thing I would say, and I'm talking about Panama City. All right, the first thing I would say is the lack of the cultural feel. Okay, now, I don't want people to take this the wrong way, because I do got people from Panama that are subscribed to my channel. And I didn't even know I had people from Panama on my channel. This is what I'm gonna say about the city. All right, it's so diverse that you don't really understand the culture. That's the thing that I'm having a hard time understanding, is that it's so many different people from so many different backgrounds that if somebody was to really ask me about Panamanian culture, it's really hard for me to identify it, because within the city it's so mixed together. It's like America. You know how America, you got so many different cultures and people like in this one country. Like, that's kind of how it feels like with Panama City. Like, it's just so many people from different backgrounds. Truth be told, I don't know who's Panamanian. Like, that's just the thing. Like, I haven't been in this country long enough, but with Panama, because it's so mixed, I can't really tell. I mean, it's really hard to kind of identify like who is who. So when people start asking me about like the specifics of the people or like the women and stuff, it's really hard to explain because and then on top of that, not only is it a mixture of different people, but like I feel like other cultures have kind of integrated into their own culture. So I will admit that's kind of my fault with coming to the city, but I didn't really know where else to go. Like I just chose Panama City because my friend lived here. But yeah, so I would say like maybe outside the city you can get that cultural type of feeling, but like when you're within the city, like it's really hard to understand this culture. I was actually gonna go to there's this place called Cologne. It's like a barrio, I guess. This is like in the outer part of the city. I did not go to it because they were trying to charge me like $65 for a one-way trip out there. It's like $65 to $70, and then that's just one way. So then you have to come back. So if you spend $70 both ways, like you already at like $140. I'm like, I don't think it's worth it. All right, let's talk about the money. That's actually very important, okay? So in Panama, they do not have their own currency. Everything is in dollars, okay? So when you go to an ATM, you take out money, it's in dollars. Everything is in dollars. Sometimes they'll pay you back in, they got like little Panamanian coins, but like all the bills and stuff, that's in dollars. Everything's in dollars. So the thing that surprised me was how expensive certain things were. Now, I was kind of told, like I already kind of came in knowing that it was going to be more expensive than most countries in Latin America simply because they do use dollars here, but I didn't think it was going to exceed past America. So like, for example, like food, okay? Food, you're going to spend a lot of money on food in Panama. For a meal, bro, you're looking at anywhere between $15 to $20 per meal. And that's like without the drinks. So if you include the drinks, okay, so for example, like the other day I had posted about a Caesar salad, okay? Caesar salad, $15. That's without a drink, okay? So like, let's say you want to get an alcohol, like a beer. A beer here is around $5 or $6. So you do 2 beers plus that $15 Caesar salad, you already at $25 for a meal. So let's say you eat 2 meals a day, you're already spending $50 just for food. Or if you're doing 3 meals a day, you're gonna be spending like around $70 to $75 a day on food. So that is something that you're gonna notice, is that like eating out and going to these restaurants and stuff, it ain't cheap. It is not cheap. And I know some people are gonna be like, oh, but you in the city and you're not in the right areas. That's actually very high for Latin America. Because I mean, you can get street food in Colombia for way less than that. And the same thing with Brazil or any of these places in Latin America. Costa Rica, no, Costa Rica is expensive. But Panama, yeah, like the food here is kind of high. Thank goodness it's a curfew because I like to go out to the club and party and stuff. And so I can't really tell you about the nightlife because everything's closed due to the pandemic. So they got like a curfew for 10 o'clock. So, you know, it's nothing open at nighttime. And just imagine if I was going to clubs, boy, like I would have been spending even more money. I'm trying to think, the hotel I'm at right now, I think I'm spending $143 a night, which I understand you don't have to get a fancy hotel like this. Like you could definitely find hotels a lot cheaper, but this hotel is kind of like around everything and the places that I was trying to be. So that's the only reason why I'm spending this much money on a hotel, but you do not have to get a fancy hotel. Like you can get an Airbnb and be perfectly fine, but I just wanted to be around everything. Like this literally has everything that I need right now. So, but yeah, just long story short, make sure when you coming out here that you do realize that you are gonna be spending a lot more. Like this ain't no little, you know, let's go down to Boca Chica, Dominican Republic, spend 1,000 pesos, you know, get you a bunch of food. Like nah, that's not what's happening. Now, one thing I will say is that the Ubers here are cheaper. The Ubers are cheap. That's something I will say, but other than that, everything is like really expensive. If you go into the stores and you're trying to buy clothes, everything is expensive. But yeah, definitely be taking a vacation to Panama. Like just make sure that you bring your money because you definitely gotta have your money up. You're gonna be spending a lot. I mean, money is not like a real deal breaker for me when I'm traveling. I mean, I expect to spend money, you know, like that's the purpose of me going on vacation. But it's just certain things like, I mean, $15 for a salad, my G, like, come on, bro. Like, I mean, that's a little bit unnecessary, but I definitely like to tell people and just let you know these things before you do come out here. I just want y'all to know, like, you know, this ain't Colombia where you can just, you know, throw a couple of pesos here and there and you'll be content. Like, no, like you definitely gonna have to come out of pocket. And that was something else that I did not like about Panama, is that I don't understand how the people live here off of the salary that they make, because everything is so high. Because everything is so expensive here, I don't understand how people like can survive off of this. Like seriously, like I have no clue. Like when I look around and I see like the cost of living here is just unbelievable compared to like what these people are making. That was one thing that I did not like about Panama. Like I actually kind of felt bad for the people. One thing I would say that surprised me about Panama, or something that was interesting about Panama, is that maids are very common here. So it is very normal to see people hire maids to like cook and clean and do stuff in the house. And that's in middle and lower class areas. So like even in the poor neighborhoods, people use maids. So I thought that that was pretty interesting to see here. I did go through the city. I went sightseeing. I wanted to go to the beach so bad, but the beach that I was trying to go to, it was closed for tourists. The only people they were letting on the beach were Panamanians and residents. Yeah, so those are the only people that was allowed to go to the beach. So I had like this whole thing planned where I was gonna go like island hopping, because they got these islands off the coast of Panama, and they weren't letting foreigners go to it, so I was kind of pissed about that. This whole pandemic thing is still kind of making things a little bit difficult to do stuff. But I did go sightseeing. I went through like the city or whatever, and once again, I said that it kind of reminded me of Dominican Republic. Like they got this area, it's like old Panama, and it kind of puts you in the mind of colonial zone, like when you look at it. So I definitely had like that nostalgic feeling, and I'm not gonna lie, like it made me want to go back to the Dominican Republic. Like when I was there, I went to the canal. That was pretty nice to see, where how you can see the boats coming from the Pacific to the Atlantic Ocean. So that was pretty interesting. But overall, my impressions of Panama, it reminds me of like an upscale Dominican Republic. Now, I did post that on my Instagram, and people was like, oh, people gonna be mad at you for saying that. But I didn't really mean it in a bad way. I'm just saying that like, it definitely is a very, very modern city. Like when you look at it, it's just that this city is so modern, it does not feel like I'm out the country. Like it feels like I'm somewhere in the States, or like a different city in the States, you know, somewhere like Miami or whatever. That's just the main deal breaker for me. I think that it's too modern, it's too much like America, for the point that I don't have that same type of cultural feel like when I'm leaving. Like for example, when I'm traveling, you know, I'm attracted to things that are different from me. Like that's why I like to travel. Like I want to be able to experience stuff that I haven't seen before. So like being within the city, I mean, one of the things you're gonna notice when you start traveling is cities are cities no matter where you go. So I think Panama City is just nice for pictures. You know, you can post some stuff on Instagram. But in terms of like that cultural feel, I don't really feel like it's there. That probably is due to the fact that I am located in the heart of the city. But that is one thing I would say for a reason why I personally would not live in Panama, is just because it reminds me of too much of the state. And on top of that, they use dollars. So I really do feel like I'm in the States. The only thing that reminds me that I'm in a Latin American country is the fact that people speak Spanish. I do feel like if I do come back to Panama, I'm just not gonna stay in the city. Like I'm gonna try to go to like other parts of Panama, but like in the city, you know, it ain't really too much that I haven't seen, especially like as many countries that I done been to and I done traveled around the world. You know, this is one of the places where it's like, okay, like been there, done that. You know, I've stayed in nice hotels before. I done been to fancy restaurants. But I want to see the culture. I want to like get the true essence of the country that I'm in. But I don't have nothing against, you know, Panamanians or anything. So for the people who subscribe to me, amazing country, beautiful country, but it just doesn't have what I need. But I do want to make a comparison video between Dominican Republic and Panama, because I do think that's going to be interesting. But yeah, y'all already know what to do. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Catch you in my next video. All right, peace.